Yeah, man, that song right there is a war chant. That tune says that my team is about to kick your butt. You know what I mean? Man, you hear that football games, basketball game, baseball, all kinds of sports, you hear them playing that. But where did that bass line actually come from? Man, it's a wild story.
Mr. Mindset on the airways tonight, dropping wisdom, heavy groove, feeling right. It's the music mindset vibe that feels so right.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Mindset channel. Hey, we're about to get into something that intrigued me for a while, man. I go to these games, especially my college game, and I hear people chanting, oh, 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 and I had no idea where it came from. You know, things come out of the woodwork, you know, like they used to do that We Will Rock You by Queen and other songs like that. They would turn into a chant and stuff like this. But I always wondered about this one song and what the name of it was and who did it. Well, we're going to get into that tonight. It's done by a band called White Stripes. And the name of the song is actually Seven Nation Army. Story goes, and we'll talk a little bit more about it in a minute. When the guy singing it was young, he had problems saying Salvation Army. He would kind of, for whatever reason, he would say Seven Nation Army. That's kind of funny. But anyway, we're going to get right in that story. It's a wild one. Y'all hang around. So, let's rewind a bit. The White Stripes were a Detroit duo, Jack White and Meg White. Two people, one massive sound. They came out of that early 2000s garage rock revival when music was getting a little too polished. Jack was all about stripping it back, raw guitar, raw emotion, no filler. Now here's a fact, they were briefly married, which is why they were the White Stripes, and that unusual energy is part of their genius.
I'm going to Wichita.
Seven Nation Army dropped in 2003 on their album Elephant, and that riff, Jack White originally wrote it just to mess around during sound checks.
And we were at sound check, and I wrote the riff for Seven Nation Army at this sound check, and I was playing it for him. I said, "Hey man, what do you think of this?" And he's like, "It's okay." You know?
He said he even thought about saving it for a James Bond theme someday. Little did he know, he was creating one of the most recognizable riffs in modern history. Now here's the mindset secret. That famous deep riff, that's not a bass guitar. That is Jack White on his sixth string playing through an octave pedal to sound huge. Two people, massive sound, pure brilliance. Now musically, it's simple, just 7 notes. But that riff feels like a war chant. It's got power, confidence, rebellion, everything that makes a crowd want to stand up and yell. And for those wondering where the name came from, Jack White, as a kid, thought the Salvation Army was called the Seven Nation Army. And there's your title. But here's where the story takes a sharp turn.
See, right now they're just playing a little zone.
Because it didn't start in an arena in Miami or with LeBron or even in the US. No, it started in Belgium, of all places. October 2003, fans of the soccer team Club Brugge were in Italy getting ready for a match against AC Milan. They'd heard that riff playing in a bar before the game and got hyped on it. When their striker Andres Mendoza scored, the fans broke out chanting that riff. No words, just. That moment right there, that's where the lightning struck. Those fans brought it home, and the chant caught on like wildfire across Europe. Italian soccer fans picked it up next, especially AS Roma supporters. And by the 2006 World Cup, the entire Italian national team's fan base had turned Seven Nation Army into their battle cry. And when Italy won that World Cup, that riff became immortal. It was no longer just a song, it was anthem status. From there, it spread like sound waves on steroids, from European soccer to US sports stadiums. The Baltimore Ravens were early adopters, then the Miami Heat, the Dolphins, the Marlins, college teams everywhere, everybody started using it to get the crowd roaring. It became the universal signal that something epic was about to happen. And the funny part? Most fans chanting it today don't even know who the White Stripes are. But that riff, it's in their bones. Now let's talk success, because that chant didn't just make noise in the stands, it made noise on the charts. The single sold over 3 million copies worldwide, went platinum in the US, the UK, and Italy, and shot up to #1 on the US Alternative Songs chart. It later went 4 times platinum in Italy, and the song has racked up billions of streams across platforms. Rolling Stone called it one of the greatest songs of the 21st century, and that's before you even count the stadium plays. The song also brought the White Stripes their first Grammy Award for Best Rock Song, and their album Elephant went on to sell over 4 million copies globally. And for those wondering, yeah, stadiums do pay for using songs like this, but not per play. They pay a yearly blanket license to performance rights groups like ASCAP and BMI, which covers all the music they pump through those speakers. So yes, Jack White gets a little piece of that action, not a huge check every time the crowd starts chanting, but a steady stream of royalties that never really stops. That's how you build generational wealth, with one iconic riff. After that, Jack and Meg eventually split up the band. Jack went on to become a solo artist and producer, even opened his own label and vinyl press called Third Man Records in Nashville. Meg stepped back from the spotlight, preferring her peace and privacy. But Seven Nation Army? That thing's never retired. It's still alive every night, at every game, in every stadium, on every continent. A 7-note riff turned into a 7-nation phenomenon. And that, my friends, is how a Detroit garage band accidentally created the most recognizable sports anthem on earth.
So now you know where the song came from, man. So next time you hear it at a game, you know exactly who it comes from, the name of the band, and the people who played it. Dude played that thing on an old 1950 guitar, by the way, in the studio. But anyway, to some people, that was a hot song back in the day. And it's even hotter now because you're going to hear it every day and every time you walk out of the house going to something having to do with sports. I can tell you that much. I hope you guys appreciate that on the Music Mindset channel. And I'm going to check you guys out next time. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel because we're going to be doing more stuff like this in the future. And you don't want to miss that. Hey, guys, I'm going to see you guys later.